Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for checking out another video of mine. I really do appreciate it. Today I'm going to do something a little controversial. I'm going to sort of talk about why the jetpack era of games weren't as bad as people say they were. Now, what sucks for me is that I don't have any of the jetpack games for Call of Duty on either my Xbox or my PC and stuff like that. I do have custom zombies on PC, but it's not really about that and stuff like that. So whatever's in the background's in the background. But when we came into 2014, Sledgehammer announced that their first solo game, because although they did help on Modern Warfare 3, it wasn't their own game, it had help with Infinity Ward, they were going to go futuristic with Advanced Warfare. Now, this is a special game for me, in the respect that this was the first game I got to properly play before it came out. So in 2014, I was in college at the time. I think I was in my second year of college, and every year we had a trip that allowed us to go to Eurogamer. Now that there was a point of going there and stuff like that. We were on an IT course and stuff like that. And the idea was that you were supposed to play test games and take bits from them and see what you would put in your final piece. We never did that, and we all threw away the sheets of paper that we had to as soon as we got off the bus. But I remember that Advanced Warfare had a huge stall at Eurogamer, and literally the queues were all the way around the the area that they had. And I remember playing it and getting to grips with the mechanics very, very quickly. It felt very comfortable for me, despite the fact we'd just had years of boots on the ground and stuff like that. I was able to adapt very quickly. So the moment the game came out, I went balls to the wall all the way through it and stuff like that. I really did like it. I thought the campaign was brilliant, considering the concept and stuff like that. I thought that multiplayer was ambitious, and it took people a long time to grasp concept of it and how it worked and stuff like that. So for the first couple of months and everything, because I'd already been playing it, previously, I found it very easy to adapt and stuff like that, and I really, really enjoyed it, whether I was playing with friends or not. You then had the idea that when they brought in Exo Zombies, that's what really changed the game for me, because that is the game mode that I played a lot. And do you know what? If I still had AW with whatever console I had, I would be playing that right now, because AW Zombies was weird, but it was good at the same time. The maps were okay, to be fair. They weren't amazing and stuff like that, but the variety of different zombies, like boss zombies and stuff like that, were very, very good. For me, my favourite map was Carrier. Just having that open area where you could put on the exosuit and stuff like that. I would literally run around that for hours and stuff like that. Once we had AW and we knew that we were staying in a futuristic era and stuff like that, along came Black Ops 3, a game that really did reinvent the Black Ops franchise. In some ways for the better and in some ways for the worse, because for the worst part is it had nothing to do with the original storyline of the Black Ops series. The basis that they have of it is that no matter what you did at the end of Black Ops 2, whether you let Menendez live or you killed him, the Cordistia movement still went ahead and stuff like that. So I don't really don't get me wrong, they're not going to be able to accurately do it for every single person's consoles and everything, because obviously Black Ops 2 came out on the 360, whereas Black Ops 3 was an Xbox One game. So obviously they're not going to be able to read old data files and see, what you did. So I understand that. But the fact that the characters had nothing to do with it, the storyline was completely batshit. Train Go Boom, anyone? The weird baby in the tree. And the fact that, I'm going to say a spoiler alert now, but it's been out for 6 years. If you don't know it now, get over it. The fact that the entire thing, you are playing as Taylor the entire time. It was an alright twist, but it really didn't give you anything. There was no satisfaction at the end of it. The multiplayer took what AW did and did make it better, to be fair. The boost jumping wasn't as bad, I want to say. There was a lot more emphasis on wall running. There was a lot more emphasis with actual gameplay rather than just using the plain mechanics. Towards the end of it, AW started putting stuff in like grappling on certain maps, which was a really cool concept. With Black Ops 3, they completely got rid of that. And the only problem with both of those two games was the pay-to-win system for supply drops. Now, obviously, AW was the first game to have supply drops, and obviously the royalty weapons that you would get out of it, the Bow Obsidian Steed, I believe it was just stupid. Luckily, I think I had stopped playing multiplayer at the time the Bow Obsidian was out and stuff like that, so I never ran into that and everything. But with AW as well, the reliance on bringing older weapons back into it, they bought an M16, they bought an M14, PPSH, all these old guns into a futuristic Call of Duty just didn't work. And with Black Ops 3, they did the exact same by bringing, again, over time, they started bringing out older and older guns. And let's not be fair here, like Black Ops 3 was still pumping out content 2 years after the game had even launched, that you could still get stuff in supply drops with contraband and stuff like that. The Zombies was a unique experience. Obviously, they didn't go in the same direction as AW with the exosuits. They completely stayed away from that. The Black Ops 3 maps, whilst good, some of them are, for most people, some of the best maps in the franchise and stuff like that. People absolutely adore Shadows of Evil. I had mixed feelings on it. I bought the season pass so I could specifically play the Giant after playing the Shadows of Evil for a little bit of time and stuff like that. Back then, I wasn't into the whole I have to set up and everything. I'd rather just play the game as is, and that's what the Giant offered me. With Dreisendrach, again, like Black Ops 3 for me was a very iffy year for zombies. I didn't play it a great deal until Zombie Chronicles came out. But you did have, I mean, I say, like, Dreisendrach has gone down as one of the best maps that Treyarch have made. Zetsubou no Shima is very hit and miss for people. Revelations, again, is very hit and miss. And Gorod Krovi is sort of, I think, well respected in its own right and stuff like that. The unique concept that they had was a mode called Nightmares, in which you played through the campaign in a different chronological order, but rather than having regular enemies, you were fighting off waves of the undead. Now, this for me was a very underrated game mode, because it was a cool concept. It's a concept we haven't seen from again, which is kind of depressing, but I think overall, you know, if they were to have really put a bit more time into Nightmares, it could have easily been, you know, top 3 in terms of like the game modes you wanted to play. Like if you didn't want to play multiplayer, you had a legitimate thing. If you could play the zombies, or you could replay the campaign and stuff like that. Because the campaign was so bad, it definitely boosted the appeal of Nightmares for some people, or it completely just obliterated it for some. And after Black Ops 3 came one of the most controversial Call of Duties there has ever been, with Infinite Warfare. Now, you can go on YouTube right now, you can type in Infinite Warfare trailer. I don't even have to do that half the time, because for some reason the Call of Duty channel pops up with the Infinite Warfare trailer every 2 weeks. It just randomly appears on my recommended, and it got absolutely bombed to hell. Now, was this Infinity Ward's fault? No. It was clear that they were told you have to make a futuristic Call of Duty, as much as they probably didn't want to. Now, the sweetener for the deal was, for most people, is that you got Modern Warfare Remastered. Now, I only bought Infinite Warfare to play Modern Warfare Remastered. I know a lot of people did. And I'm going to be honest with you, I played Modern Warfare Remastered for about 4 or 5 months, and I did not enjoy it, really. There wasn't a real nostalgia feel to it. It was just kind of half-hearted. And then I started putting a bit more time into IW. Now, IW has one of the best campaigns, people have said, out of any Call of Duty. I never played the IW campaign. It wasn't for me. The multiplayer took a lot of getting used to. The problem they had in a lot of Call of Duty since is that there was a gun from the very beginning which was OP from the start, and they never did anything with the NV4. And again, they had a salvage type system to upgrade your guns manually and stuff like that. So you could earn the scraps and salvage and stuff like that, and upgrade them that way, rather than having to spend money on supply drops and stuff like that, which was a cool concept. But it was just, you know, the maps never seemed brilliant. I think overall, although I felt more comfortable playing it, maybe because for the last 2 years we'd been playing futuristic Call of Duties, I was more comfortable playing IW than I was MW Remastered. And, you know, IW tried their own. I mean, they tried their own zombies, and it was definitely not for me. It was too childlike for me to like. And I think I mean, for some people, IW Zombies was really, really good. For me, I just couldn't get over the sort of quote unquote campy nature of it all. Obviously, the clowns and all that sort of stuff. It was too sort of bright and colourful and didn't really. The idea for me with zombies and stuff like that is zombies are meant to be a horror icon type thing. They're meant to scare you. It didn't do anything of the sort. So, obviously, when World War Two was announced, a lot of people were very happy. But the thing with it was, because of the way that Infinite Warfare really declined on how good it was, people went back and played Black Ops 3. And it's the reason why Black Ops 3, for some people, is a top 5 Call of Duty title and stuff like that. Although there were points of the game which were really, really bad, there was a lot of stuff that made it really good. Some of the supply drop weapons that they did have were very good. They weren't overpowered, but they were fun to use. Some of them were completely ridiculous, i.e. the D13 Sector, also known as the pizza launcher. They had cool concepts and they had poor concepts. And, I think nowadays, with the way that Call of Duty is going, maybe they could go back to the old futuristic Call of Duties and stuff like that, just even if they just did it one time. I mean, I know that's where a lot of people, like the generation, came from and stuff like that, and they're happy with it and stuff like that. Maybe the OGs and stuff like that wouldn't like it and stuff like that. But Call of Duty is all about evolving and stuff like that. Maybe they could do it once and stuff like that and just see what happens with it and stuff like that. Could you do like Black Ops 3 or Advanced Warfare with like the Modern Warfare style of concept and everything, with seasons like that? Could you do it with regular content updates that were free rather than buying season passes and stuff like that? Because it's clear that they're not going in that direction anymore. They're happy to do the free content and stuff like that. I think it could be an alright concept to try. But I think the slander that the futuristic Call of Duty's got is that from a lot of people that are the quote-unquote OGs that were happy with boots on the ground and stuff like that. They were happy with their Black Ops 2s, their Modern Warfare 2s and stuff like that. They didn't want the change and stuff like that. The problem is that the moment Ghosts introduced a little bit of change with it, when they started doing dynamic parts of the map and everything, trying to copy Battlefield, immediately the community said, no, this is terrible and stuff like that. And then when they brought out AW, the community went, well, we didn't ask for this and stuff like that. And I do completely agree with that. But at the same time, you have to understand that there was a shift in movement and stuff like that. They wanted to try something different. Whether it worked, whether it didn't, at the end of the day, we all bought the games. We spent money on the games. We put hours and hours and hours into these games and stuff like that. And overall, they were a lot of fun. I say AW for me, I'm tempted to download the mod S1X, I believe it's called, and play AW again, this time on PC. I'm happy. I probably will do that because I do enjoy that game and stuff like that. But it's futile to say that the game's flopped or anything because they had a massive audience with it. Yes, there was problems with it in terms of all three of them pretty much being paid to win, but they did have a lot of fun concepts with it. So the overall basis that the games were poor because they were futuristic is mute to me. Because if you did play them and stuff like that, you did genuinely enjoy them and stuff like that. And I'll even go as far as to say some people missed it when they went to World War II. I even think with World War II, people went back again and played Black Ops 3. They may not have played Infinite Warfare or may not have even got as far to go back as playing AW. I did. But they went straight back to Black Ops 3, thinking, oh no, I'd rather play this and stuff like that. And that is the reason, with how bad World War II was for some people, it made you go back to an older Call of Duty and stuff like that. Some people may have gone even further back, but the Jetpack era games gave you, a real sense of, this game really was just over the top and stuff like that. You could mess around, you could fly around and all that sort of stuff. And if you didn't get that concept and stuff like that, I completely understand. It was gimmicky and, the amount of boost jumping and stuff like that, yeah, it was frustrating and stuff like that. The maps were very based on boost jumping and stuff like that and wall running and stuff. But that was the overall concept. The problem that Black Ops 3 and AW and IW had is that they didn't really have a proper way of bringing new players into this concept. They had, with Black Ops 3, they had free run, but it was one map and it never ever changed. So that was the problem with that. Like, if you're going to do that, like, I think a lot of people scream, just have a free run map every couple of months, just change it up and stuff like that. You could have had people doing speed trials and stuff like that, trying to set records. That probably would have kept, it would have definitely brought new people into it and stuff, and it would have made the games, a little bit more fun, But I think overall, with like, in terms of maps and stuff like that, yeah, there were a lot of stinkers and stuff like that, but especially Black Ops 3 had a lot of good maps and stuff like that, with Combine being the number one. Obviously, remaking Nuketown for a third time, it definitely worked. So I get why some people slander it, but I will never understand why people slander it just because it's a jetpack era game and stuff like that. If you put time and effort into the games and stuff like that, they were a lot of fun. And it does suck for me that, I can't go back and play someone like the original AW because it's just completely bombed and stuff like that. Or they're just hacks and stuff like that. Every old Call of Duty will vouch for. But for me, if you really did play those games and everything, you did have... Although you probably had that small part in your brain go, no, I want to hate this just because everyone else hates it, most people would sit there and go, well, hang on a minute, no, I actually had a lot of fun playing this. Like, Black Ops 3 was the Call of Duty that me and my friends really got back into Call of Duty and stuff like that. Then it was killed in IW and World War 2 and Black Ops 4 and stuff like that. But Black Ops 3 brought my friend group back together playing Call of Duty and stuff like that. The same way Modern Warfare 2019 did. So I think I'm going to leave it there. Like, let me know what you guys think. Like, did you enjoy the Jetpack era games? Did you not enjoy them? Like, why did you like them? Why didn't you like them? And stuff like that. If you really did like the video, I'd appreciate a like. Subscribe down below as well. All my social media links are in the description as always. And I'll see you in the next video. Peace.